So who are some of the names that you've taught?
Beach Boys, Jacksons, Earth, Wind & Fire, Chicago, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, Maroon 5, Eminem, Jeff Bridges, Colin Farrell, Steve Carrell, Will Ferrell, Bradley Cooper, Keira Knightley, Angelina Jolie, Zoe Saldana, Tyra Banks. My first lesson was Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. And there I am sitting across the piano from a superstar singer, writer, producer, artist who sells millions of records. And I was supposed to teach that singer how to sing better. Voice is the most powerful communication tool that you will ever own. And when you think about it, it's the most cost-effective way of achieving impact and influence. And we don't even have to buy it. We own one. And yet we were all born with a voice, and we're all using it to create a life. I say life doesn't really even exist without communication. If you and I are in a room together and you don't see me and you don't hear me, I don't exist to you. Then I open up my mouth and it's just you and I, and we're at the dry cleaners. I have sound come out of my mouth. Now you hear that and you instantly make value judgments about it. It's human nature. Oh, do I like Roger? How old is Roger? How much money does he have in the bank? Does he have any kids? I wonder if he'll like me. How tall is he? And it is out of those judgments that we need to learn how to use voice, because people don't know us, and when they hear us, they make those judgments. Well, they're adding elements to the story that doesn't even exist. What if you could just, in every conversation, control the way people perceived you? This isn't just for professional speakers. It's the fact that we are all professional speakers. We are all public speakers. We're all public speakers. It's just time that we started realizing that we need to pay attention to the sounds that were coming out, because most of the time we're disappointing our public. There's really 5 variables that you can control when you speak. The pitch, which is how high or low you normally speak. The pace, how fast or how slow you normally speak. The tone, whether you're airy or whether you're edgy. The volume, is it loud, is it soft? And the melody, pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume. I got really good from 17 years of me teaching singers how to control pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume. Then I started teaching doctors and lawyers and husbands and wives and students how to use pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume. And I ended up having the same results. The sounds that came out of their mouths started influencing everyone they were speaking to, because they were emotional sounds. That's where young people need to start. A voice makeover. Here's some things that young people need to do today, right away, soon as they've finished listening to this, that can change their voice and change the way that people perceive every sound that comes out of their mouths. Number 1, they need to start looking at pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume. How loud do they speak? Because people are afraid to speak loud, because they think that if they speak loud, it's going to sound angry. But it's not true as long as you add melody to it. You could be as loud as you want, but if you have melody in it, you'll never sound angry. What kind of volume are you using? Most people have become more soft-spoken. And so they're not creating enough sound that literally sends enough sound out of their mouths to vibrate the bodies of the people. So start experimenting with more volume, and that will actually make you a more influential speaker, because volume by itself does not equal anger. Second thing, melody. We already spoke about that. Get used to the melodies that you're using right now and realize that you're actually a piano. There's so many notes inside of your voice. You're a song waiting to be spoken. You need to start adding more melodies into your voice. And if you don't have melody, you don't have engagement. Next, how fast, the pace of the voice. How fast or slow are you speaking? Most people have a set pace that they've sort of gotten into, and they just stay at that pace the whole time. But would you really go to a concert and pay a lot of money to see your favorite artist and then have them only sing ballads? No, you'd be bored. You like it when they sing up-tempo songs and then they throw in a ballad, and when they mix it up, they mix up the tempos, and sometimes you're up on the seat going, woo, 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 and sometimes you're sitting there going, I love you, honey. You need to start changing. Sometimes speak a little faster. Sometimes speak a little slower. Start to realize that you're in control over other people's pulse when they listen to you, and you get a little faster and their pulse raises a little bit and they get a little excited, and you get a little slower and their pulse lowers and they get a little bit more calm. You have so much more control than you think. Pitch. Where's your voice normally sitting? Are you up here like all the time? Like kind of like, I went through puberty, but I sort of like that cute voice that I had before, and I'm a salesman, and so I gotta be high energy, so I'm gonna stay up high all the time. Or are you staying down low here in the range, thinking that you grew up listening to CNN International and hear James Earl Jones, or when he was Darth Vader, and you're like, I kind of like this low thing down here, but do I stay down here all the time? And does that maybe seem a little sexy sometimes, but does it also make you sound boring because it's predictable? Too much of any good thing or too much of one sound will always bore people. And remember, you only got 8 seconds before they lose attention. Even if they think that sounds amazing, 8 seconds later, they're gonna be like, what else you got, honey? Pitch, pace, tone. Tone is how airy or soft you get. We've become a world of whispers, thinking that if I had more air in my voice, it would show that I care so much more. So I add air. So the psychologists and therapists, hi, come on in. It's air, air, air. But air sometimes works in the bedroom, but it doesn't work in the boardroom. And it doesn't work to showcase strength and power and charisma, because air dissipates in the air, and an airy voice just kind of disappears and makes you sound weak. So you're sitting in a boardroom and you're airy, thinking that the people will listen to you because you care more, but they didn't listen to you because it was just dissipated in the air. Weak. Are you using air and is it just weak? Or are you using more edge and thickness to cut through the noise that is happening so that people feel more of the edge and the power and thickness? When should you be airier? When should you be edgier? Pitch, pace, tone, melody, volume. That's what people need to be thinking about right now, and they can literally do exactly what I said with those variables by recording themselves, listening back, saying, oh my gosh, everything I say is the same pace. I never get faster. I never get slower. Roger was right. Oh my gosh, I have a vocal fry. I watch The Bachelor. And everybody talks like this on The Bachelor. I watch reality TV, and they all talk like this. So maybe I should talk like this. Wow, Roger said, no, I shouldn't talk like that. That's super boring. That's called a vocal fry, or I call squeaky hinge. I don't have to do that. I could not do that. I could send a little more air out. Is my voice soft all the time? Is my voice loud all the time? Is my voice monotone all the time? And then just play with it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. I'm sure all of the people who are listening to this are way smarter than I am. And though I may know a little bit more about music than some, it doesn't matter. It's not about music. It's just about listening and hearing how simple it is to detect those things. You hear them when I do it. You hear when I get airy or edgy. You hear when I'm speaking really, really fast, or when I'm speaking really slow. Are you speaking slow, thinking that you're talking about technical things? But how are people reacting to that? They think that you think that they're dumb, and that's why you have to go so slow. So you're actually disrespecting them sometimes when you're speaking too slow, or disrespecting them when you're speaking too fast, like a car salesman just running through all the words, and because they know they're not gonna say, could you stop, Mr. Salesman, right there and explain that again? Because they don't want to come across as dumb. So that people listen to people speaking fast, they don't interrupt them because they don't want to seem that they can't process the information, and then they don't remember it or care about it. To me, the greatest secret that the best voices in the world know is that they can move people from emotion to emotion. That their job isn't just to create one emotion, so you're listening the whole time and you're happy the whole time, or you're sad the whole time, or you're pensive the whole time. A great speaker literally moves you from happy 1 second to sad 1 second to excited another second. And when you realize as a speaker that you have that kind of influence over people, that you can showcase your own emotions, but move the people who hear you through a myriad of emotions. So a great speaker is at the end of a conversation, if it's a one-line joke or it's a 45-minute talk, that they've taken the listeners through multiple emotions. How many emotions can you make people feel? That's the secret to being a great speaker. So what I brought is my free to you 7-day Love Your Voice challenge. I made little segments that you can watch one day for 10 minutes a day max. And in 7 days, you're going to go from not loving your voice, your speaking voice, to loving your speaking voice. I promise you, it will really step up the sounds you're making, and you'll learn so much more about things, the techniques that I teach, and how easy it is for you to go from hating your voice to loving your voice.